The Russian military doesn't play by the rules. After obtaining the terrorists' location information, they immediately dispatched armed helicopters to carry out a 360-degree, no blind spot, carpet-style strike. After a round of intense bombing, none of the terrorists at the target site survived. Multiple bodies were found among the ruins, but the body of the leader Shamil was nowhere to be found. Only the remains of his father were discovered. In other words, the mission ended in failure. This made things even more complicated. Not only had Shamil been alerted, causing her to act with greater caution, but her father had also been killed, and the retaliation came swiftly. On the 1st of September, a terrorist attack occurred at a middle school, where more than 1,000 students and teachers were taken hostage, resulting in hundreds of deaths, including over 100 students. This incident shocked the entire nation. When President Putin heard about it, he issued a strict order. The special operations team felt unprecedented pressure and were deeply remorseful themselves. But soon they obtained another lead. Through real-time satellite surveillance, they discovered that Shamil frequently called a private residential area, and the person on the other end was this man, Isa. Shamil immediately recognized him. Back then, she had narrowly escaped death thanks to Isa's help, and now the only clue was connected to him. Brian had no choice but to visit Isa in person, hoping to get some information from him. However, Isa said that he had already left the organization long ago, and now only wanted to spend the rest of his life with his wife and daughter. He had no intention of getting involved in any of their operations. Upon hearing this, Brian immediately rebuked Isa, saying that he was putting himself in a difficult position. As long as Shamil was still alive, she would pose a threat to Isa's family, forcing Isa to continue working for him. There would be no end to it. Although Isa was somewhat moved, he still didn't say anything. Seeing this, Brian knew he couldn't keep pressing it, so he just left a phone note. Isa could call this number at any time if he needed to. Meanwhile, the special operations team obtained another important lead. They discovered that a Russian military officer had once served in the same unit as Shamil. The portable air defense missile 9K-38 Igla might have been leaked to Shamil by him, but for now, this was only speculation and there was no concrete evidence. So Brian and his teammates began a private investigation, secretly sneaking into the officer's house to search. However, the place was completely empty, but Brian's sharp instincts told him that something was definitely off. Sure enough, they discovered a hidden passage under the carpet. At that moment, Shamil was in a room below. Hearing the commotion, she immediately turned on the surveillance cameras and saw someone approaching her. Shamil readied herself for battle, holding an AK-47. Meanwhile, Brian continued searching the basement, and a suspicious cabinet caught his attention. He mustered all his strength, intending to move it. On the other side of the door, Shamil was extremely tense. At the critical moment, a phone call interrupted Brian's actions. The call was from Isa, who claimed there was something important they needed to discuss in person, which made Brian stop searching. If it hadn't been for that phone call, Brian would have been doomed for sure. Once again, Isa had saved Brian. After the two met, Isa revealed the entire plan. Shamili planned to launch a large-scale terrorist attack at the summit in Leningrad using Soviet weapons, making other countries believe that Russia had started the conflict, thereby allowing Chechnya to break free from Russian control. Isa himself took on the task of transporting the weapons from Georgia. As he finished his last sentence, Isa immediately fainted. It turned out that he had been suffering from cancer for a long time, and now it was in the late stage with little time left. All he wanted was to help Brian eliminate this cancer completely, so he could protect his own daughter. After Brian learned about the entire plan,